doing a news show, and that is what happened in the news. We doing a news show, and that is what happened in the news.
Hello, ghosts, goblins, and ghouls. This is your power report for this 30th of October. The way I this was set up is see what
Your audio is not coming through well.
There we go.
There it is.
All right. Thank you for letting me know, keeping me in check. Back in the day, old heads remember forehead bam. So that's a legacy moment right there where he's correcting me on my audio. Oh no. Oh no. Is this the Hotep report already?
This was I wore this a couple of times last year.
Yeah, I feel like that's familiar. I was gonna say that you're not on TikTok like that, but make sure you spray it down with Lysol before you return it to Spirit Halloween.
Okay. Will do.
Yeah, that's the safe answer. That's the safe answer. Short time on PowerPort. Both Bam and I only have about an hour and 45 for y'all. So
I actually can't say a little later. The 8 it can be after that.
I will try to respect that. You know, it's customary that I at least lie in the beginning of the show. You know, it's tradition at this point. But yeah, there's a lot of domestic things that have made me laugh over the past, honestly, 45 minutes, but definitely over the past week. Obviously, there are terrible things going on, but I think that because I'm adjusting my own media diet when I'm thinking about how we produce the show. It's coming out in little ways. You'll start to see it a little bit more, but there's been some really like the ass showing is very funny this week. I'll say that.
Hold on, Dan, 1 second. Let me I think somebody knocked out my Ethernet. Hold on 1 second.
Okay, all good. I will say hi to some folks in the chat here. Good to see y'all. Thank you for joining. Streaming on Twitter again for once. Gotta make sure to stay near my microphone here. Hey Bad Lefty, hey Mocha Stroika. I love that name. Hey Moko. Pinkerbell, Mono. Good to see everyone here. Hopefully, yeah. My audio may have been a little bit wonky. It should be fixed now. Let me just reset it just to be safe. Bada boom. Let me try it again. Bada bing. Okay. It's looking like it's coming through now, so we're gonna continue with that. So good to see you all here. Bam is back. Bam is back.
I'm back.
Cool. So let's get your bullshit out of the way. What do you want to talk about this week?
Watching you talk about something serious and you called it bullshit. Well, I like to talk about the international news. I don't think we're doing that yet.
No, I'm actually down to talk about the international news first, actually. That's kind of why I mentioned it. Hence why it's important. And I'm not going to put you on blast like that, but I will say I was noticing this week that due to long overdue guilt tripping that your boy pioneered, prominent leftist figures are now starting to talk a little bit more about Sudan. And, some of that was guilt tripping from the left and Black creators and, people in people's, orbits like this. And some of that guilting was because of pretty pathetic attempts by Hasbarists for Zionism to, say, oh, you care so much about Palestine, but you don't care much about Sudan. Suspicious. And, it's clearly like a wedge thing, but stuff is popping off in Sudan. And, it's going to be another one of those, like, it's hard to kind of contextualize exactly what's going on, the relationship between the United Arab Emirates and Sudan, what's going on, all that other different stuff. But we've seen so many different stories over the 720 plus days. Yeah, probably like 740 at this point. Since October 7th, about hospitals being bombed and civilians being attacked. And we just got like a story of over 400, I think, civilians being attacked at a hospital in Sudan through these sort of, battles and attacks that are happening. So that was on my mind. Trump is also on a world tour and decided to just do nukes again. So there's a lot to talk about world news. South America is we're back in the Teddy Roosevelt sphere of influence, sort of like Monroe Doctrine sort of thing about South America being part of what America's supposed to be paying attention to. Lot to go around. Bam, please take us away.
Bad Lefty's mentioning the Colombian mercenaries in Sudan. They were initially in Yemen. The UAE did have them deployed in Yemen. They're probably like Arabic is so good now. Those guys, they like been in the region for 10 years. But yeah, it's interesting because the situation in Sudan, like I think that, it's really a mess. And, when I see posts about it, I feel like people are just kind of starting, like not like starting. I've seen stuff about the UAE being involved before, but it's starting to get out there more. I saw people talking about boycotting the UAE and stuff like that. But it's not just them. It's not just them. It's Russia. Like from what I remember, Russia is like on both sides. Like it's really
As
a
in
mess.
many cases, yes.
It's really a mess, and ultimately, it's a civil war that didn't just start recently. Like it's still a continuation from what was happening 20 years ago in Darfur. Like it's really like a similar conflict, but with just like the Sudanese military fighting against they're not calling them the Janjaweed anymore. They're calling them the Rapid Support Forces. But um,
Is there
back
any
then,
reason why they're calling them differently?
I think that they're not calling them the Janjaweed anymore because I feel like now, like back then, there was like kind of a racial component to the Darfur genocide thing. It was like, it was completely the wrong narrative, but at that time it was like Arabs against non-Arabs in Sudan, and like the Janjaweed were the Arabs and they were fighting against the non-Arabs, which was just like really not the case. Like in Sudan, like they're all black basically. So I think now,
Not me.
I think now, like since that narrative isn't like being spread like that, they want to refer to them as a different name. I think like Janjaweed. It was also like around the time of the Iraq War was still going on and all that stuff. So it was like scary Arab time. But yeah, ultimately, it's a civil war, and it's there's people on both sides involved. I don't really see America involved like that. Um, it's UAE. It's I'm sure Saudis are involved. Russia's involved. Um, I'm sure some other like African powers are involved in some way. I'm sure Egypt has something to do with it, but those civil wars in like let's just say Africa and the Middle East, everybody's guilty. Let me
My
just
favorite
say
country.
everybody's guilty. Like everybody on each side is going to do hella atrocities. Right now, we're getting the
But bam, do you condemn gestures and everything?
right now we're getting the like there was like some mass killings, like some civilians got killed in forgot the name of the city, Al Fashir maybe, Fashir I
We're
think.
talking about in Sudan, or
Yes,
maybe we're talking about a different thing.
no, in Sudan.
The hospital killing I was talking about was I wanted to say Darfur City.
Okay, I don't know if I don't know. I know Darfur is a region. I don't know about Darfur being a city, but like I think it's the name of the city is Al Fashir, but I'm not. I could be wrong about that. I'm pretty sure it's Al Fashir.
No. Yeah, see, you're totally right. Al Fashir. I was reading wrong. It
Yeah,
was like I was reading from Al Jazeera, and it said like the besieged Darfur City, and it's not like
yeah. It's in the Darfur region.
yeah, Sudan City. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
not quite.
But it kind of reminded me of back during the Syrian civil war. Like you woke up one morning and like Aleppo was everywhere. Like
Mm.
like it was like like the war had been going on for so long, but it was just like one day, like it was like, oh my God, what happened in Aleppo? And then
And was it like I don't know? Was it because I'm trying to think about back to like what are the moments like like you're saying atrocities are happening all the time in a lot of places, and we talked about this in various moments in PowerPort. We could have done a better job about talking about Sudan, even though through the past couple of years we've done a good job about mentioning it at least on a 1-to-3 ratio with Palestine. I'd at least say, but I feel like with Syria, it was like I remember sarin gas and like like that kind of piece being
chlorine gas, barrel bombs. It was all that. But it was like one day.
And so like so I mean to say is like it are these things like in your analysis, please continue, but like in these things, is it like a particular moment, a particular sort of atrocity that begins to kind of like shake international sort of observers, folks like you and me who are like online a little bit too much in these sort of geopolitics circles, like, is that what sort of like shakes them into being like, okay, we got to be like all eyes on blank, in this case all eyes on Reed's notes, El Fashir.
I think I don't want to say, you know what, should I just say it like this?
Yes, that's always been
let me just say it like this. I think just like,
it's only you, me, and the Oppo researchers, honestly. So go ahead.
I think I don't really mean this about Sudan as much, but I think just like some days just have like really good PR. Like it sounds terrible, but like I remember in Egypt there was like I think it was like there was like some people that got killed in Tahrir Square during like the so-called revolution there, and like there was like an online campaign like right away. It was like the four fingers and like the bloody hand or something like that. In Aleppo, when it was like one morning, it was like, oh my God, like this thing happened in Aleppo, and there was like, the red Syria flag or something. I can't remember. There was like an internet campaign like already, like, I don't want to say prepared because I'm not trying to be tinfoil hat, but it was like there was something that was attached to this, like to whatever happened that made it go viral. The
like on a scale of like spontaneous Arab Spring to like planned Coney 2012, this was somewhere closer to like the Coney side.
Yeah, and it's not like exactly, but it is like a little bit, This situation
like on a scale of 0 to 10, it's like a 7.
Right. This situation in Sudan, I'm gonna be very honest with you, like it's not gonna get that much attention because it just, sadly,
views have already gone down on the stream already.
You're right. Sadly, there's no like bad guy. Like the same thing with Congo. Like there's no bad guy. Like it's a civil war basically. Like, and it's hard to turn like Rwanda into the bad guy because they're like a Western darling. When it was Syria, it was like Bashar's the bad guy. There's like the Syrian government is the bad guy. When it's Egypt, it's like the Egyptian military is the bad guy. Coney was the bad guy, whoever else.
Honestly, the people on the marketing team were close too.
Whoever else, and like the situation in Sudan is just like so intertwined. Like now if they were saying Janjaweed still, then maybe they could have get people to care more. But saying the Rapid Support Forces, like it's hard to know. Are they the good guys or the bad guys? Because it's like also you're telling me the Rapid Support. I don't know. But to be honest with you, like you're telling me about the Rapid Support Forces, and then like there's also the Sudanese military. So it's like, people are skeptical of militaries in Africa, like, so it's like, wait, whose side am I supposed to be on? Like, who's the bad guy here? Like, is it the military or is it them? Because they also had a military coup in Sudan not that long ago. So it's like, And for me, somebody who keeps up with stuff going on in Africa and the Middle East and the Arab world and the Muslim world and stuff like that, it's messy to me too. It's like, dude, I feel sorry for the situation. It's terrible. Unfortunately, like when Trump got elected, he, cut off a lot of aid throughout the world, and people are starving because of that in Sudan, especially.
Throughout the United States too.
Right, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But like because of that, like it's even hard for me to keep up with them. I'm just like, y'all just got to stop, dude. Like because on some level, it's like you can't. I mean, I can't blame the UAE more than I can blame like Sudanese people who picked up weapons to fight against each other. Like just because the UAE is saying like, hey, if you go do this, we'll give you something or give you a cut. I don't know. Like, it doesn't mean you have to do that. So really you have a civil war is people fighting within the country against like, fellow country people and also like killing civilians. If anybody, I'm sure this is boring as hell now, but if anybody wants to read about another civil war that happened in Africa, Algeria's civil war, I want to say it was in the 90s. Like the early 90s, Algeria had a really bloody civil war. Same thing. Mm-hmm. they're all just both sides is doing like crazy atrocities, like so it's just a sad situation, and it's really hard for this situation to pick up like the online virality, as opposed to a Palestine or like a Syria did or like an Egypt did.
I'm just gonna read off some bits from Al Jazeera just so people have like straight information, so it's not just like us popping off. The RSF has killed at least 1,500 people in El Fasher, capital of the North Darfur state, since seizing it on Sunday, according to the Sudan Doctors Network, including at least 460 people at a hospital at a widely condemned massacre. More than 3,600 people have fled since Saturday, largely on foot to Tawila, a town about 43 miles west that is sheltering already about 650,000 people who are displaced. So, we're talking about 2 million people in Gaza and, more even in the West Bank who are being displaced right now actively. And, you're seeing a number that's like 30%, 40% around that out here as well. So one survivor named Hussein was wounded by the shelling, but made it to Tawila with the help of a family carrying their mother on a donkey cart. They said the situation in Al Fashir is so terrible. Dead bodies in the streets and no one wants to bury them, he said. We're grateful we made it here, even if we only have the clothes we're wearing.
Yeah, it's been like that for a long time. And like I said, like, I feel like when it started getting, it was actually kind of weird to me when it started kind of getting more attention online. I was just like, whoa, like, really? Has this been going on for a minute now? Like, it's been like that for, I can't say how many years, but like, it's been a minute. Like, there was like a big.
I remember a friend of mine in high school doing a project on like famine in South Sudan, like not to age myself, but roughly a decade ago.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, I don't know exactly the date, the year South Sudan became a country, but like even that was like a crazy ongoing war. I remember they used to have that one. What was his name? Like, Good Luck Jonathan or something like that. I think he was like the leader of South Sudan. I like. Please look it up. I think his name was Good Luck Jonathan, and he used to wear the hat.
No. That was the former president of Nigeria. Sorry.
Was that Good Luck Jonathan?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, my bad. Okay, wait. Who was it?
Omar al-Bashir?
No. That was the Sudan guy. In South Sudan, they had a guy who used to wear the hat. Damn, what's his name?
Let me see.
If you put South Sudan hat president, he'll come up.
Salva Kiir Mayardit?
He's Salva Kiir. Why the hell did I say Good Luck Jonathan? I think he used to wear a hat too.
No. I know the Nigerian guy. You had some elite ball knowledge right there. Once you said Good Luck Jonathan, I was like, oh my God, I know this guy.
He used to rock the hat too. That's why he used to rock the hat. But Salva Kiir, I don't know if he's still alive, but is he still the president of South Sudan? Yes, I'm pretty sure he is. But yeah, even that situation was wild. They were fighting each other for decades until South Sudan split. And who was a big backer of South Sudan? Israel. And who was a big supporter of the people of Darfur? Who was a big supporter? Israel was all over Darfur. And you know who else? The Kurds. The Kurds were. It was messy, girl. It was messy. But I'm 100% sure like one of Salva Kiir's kids like lives in America. I'm like 100% sure about that. But and probably Bleach's too. But
one of Netanyahu's kids up in Pennsylvania.
Like literally. But yeah, it's really a shame and it's very sad what's happening in Sudan. At the same time, it's like, like, yo, like, like, what is the purpose of this situation? I have no clue. Like, what are you even fighting for? Like, Sudan has some gold, it has some oil, but it's like it's never gonna be, some like wealthy nation, and it's just never been like that calm. It's had its calm years, but like Omar Bashir is like always on the run from the ICC. Like he's always been considered a war criminal from the war in like South Sudan. So like, yeah, I don't know. It's a really unfortunate situation, but I'll say this is the last thing I'll say. For the people that are like, um, how come nobody's talking about Sudan? Like, it's like because people just can't understand. And I don't think, for me, like if you don't really understand the situation, like I don't think necessarily you should talk about it that much. Like I feel like try to educate yourself to like try to understand if you're really going to be out there talking about it, because I have seen plenty of people on Instagram reposting some thing that they came across, which I'm sure just they saw somebody else post it, and it is like the wrong side, you know?
Oh no, I've been off of Instagram for just over a month and a half, and like, oh my god, I hope it's like clear in like my lucidity of like how much I've quit social media. Like it is great. Among other different things going on in my life right now, it has been phenomenal. And for the old heads, you'll remember the older power reports where like we would interview some of those experts, and like I would actually like seek out and what's that word? Like no fucking commentator knows how to do it anymore. That's right, vet. I would vet and like go back and like look back and go, does this person make sense? And, you don't always get it right, but I think this time needs more of the curation and less of the sort of like knee-jerk reaction. And so that's kind of a tease for some of the content we have coming up a little bit, at least cooking up in my head. More on that soon. That'll definitely include
mainly.
Huh?
I said mainly some stuff later. No pun intended.
Yeah. I actually have nothing to say about that at this point.
Okay.
No. I think there's a lot. I think one of the more poignant things I've said, one of the most poignant things you said about that very quickly last week was that I remember, at least myself, I said that ultimately the people of Maine are going to be the ones deciding on this. And I forget who made this point, but a combination of both of us like was also adding that this election is so far out. A lot of people, this is not really going to matter to them. It's not really like that much to add to. I think it's an interesting point to see how certain people reacted, but that's a different venue for a different time. Right. Let's go. Let's go into the tip. Let's go into with Hurricane Melissa. I wanted to at least acknowledge that before we get into South America, because that's South Greenland, as I say, I guess. We'll get to Trinidad and Tobago later, all right? But Hurricane Melissa, strongest Category 5 hurricane to hit Jamaica. It's also hit Cuba, and other places like in the vicinity. Haiti. The alligators and dolphins are ending up in neighborhoods and pools out there because of the heightened sea levels. First responders are just getting out. There are believed to be a lot of people who died trying to escape the flooding, who have died, just because of the flooding, the winds, all the kind of chaos. The storm is weakened, but it was like a, once in a decade kind of storm. There have been a couple. I think there was one in the 90s and then one like maybe in the 10s, the 2010s that we had seen. But yeah, no, some of the images out of there are devastating. You you know, some of these weather stories. I remember seeing, I forget this guy, but he's like a meteorologist in Florida, I want to say. And he gets really emotional talking about a lot of the weather stuff, especially recently. He did a really good report on the impact that Doge was having on the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, which handles, you know, distributes all of the uh meteorological, or, you know, to use less big ass words, like they're the government agency that does the weather reports, and they distribute them to like smaller, you know, radio stations, rural areas, big cities. You know, like in big cities, they have some of the resources and some of like the things where, like, you know, you can get a lot of ways to get this data. But in rural areas where Tornado Alley, NOAA is crucial. And with all these other different cuts, hurricanes, where hurricanes are happening, it's very crucial. And with all these other different cuts, it's very difficult for not just the United States, but to share all this other information out to other countries. I'm not saying that was necessarily a factor here. Like ultimately, like this is a very big storm. You can say that climate change is a factor for a lot of these storms, but like, you know, these storms happen and have been happening with more frequency, especially since the 80s, 90s, when a lot of this industrialization is peaked around the world. And yeah, you really feel for it. Like you see a little bit of fall rain outside out here on the East Coast. It's like, oh well, that's nothing compared to what's going on out there. So you really feel it.
Yeah, no, it's really unfortunate. I think I saw, as of right now, the death tolls at 28. I don't know if that was at just in Jamaica or within like a few different countries, but
I saw the death toll at 40, combining a few different countries. So you know, I think it's morbid, but unfortunately safe to say that the death toll is going to climb in both
for sure
regards. But
yeah, I mean, hopefully it doesn't reach a Texas flooding from a few months ago level, but yeah, you know, we see like more of these extreme weather events around the world. I was just seeing about it's like I think it's been 1 year since those devastating floods in Valencia, Spain, where like over 200 people died. You know, and then like the king of Spain came to Valencia. They were like throwing mud at him, and you know they're calling on like the mayor to resign and stuff like that. You're just seeing a lot of these extreme weather events around the world. I mean, you know, obviously, the Caribbean gets, you know, a hurricane or two every year, but you know, if they just keep getting worse and worse. I mean, I can't remember the name of the hurricane, but it was like a couple years ago. And yeah, they were just like, I was seeing something recently, and they're just like, yeah, we still haven't recovered from that hurricane. So, you know, I feel like, unfortunately, unless things change, you know, what's going to happen is, you know, basically every year you're going to get these hurricanes, but you're not going to be able, like the countries aren't going to be able to recover from them within that year. So it's just like more and more things get battered. You know, one of the big things that affects, especially in the Caribbean, not so much Haiti, but is it affects tourism. You know, Jamaica, people
I'm sorry, not so much Haiti, and then mentioning tourism.
Barbecue. I don't know if barbecue's checking passports yet, but
I bet he's more lenient than Trump.
He probably should. But you know, people in Jamaica, people trying to go to Jamaica, they're trying to hit up hedonism too. You know what I mean? Cuba gets a lot of tourism throughout the year. So like it's not just the devastation from the storm itself. Like it's like people being like, well, you know, it's like too dangerous to visit the Caribbean between, you know, August and October, you know, and that also impacts the local economy a lot too.
Yeah. Folks like Bad Lefty saying that was a year ago. Damn, it was a lot. Time is weird.
Yeah, in Spain, that was a year ago. It was crazy.
It is wild. I want to show some before and after photos really quickly of some different areas. So this first photo is the Barnett River along Montego Bay. So I'm going to show you the before photo, and this is from the 24th of September 2025. Let me put it on full mast here.
Okay.
So that's that. Now let me show you what it looks like after the hurricane. That would be the 29th of October. So let's do the old eye exam. Here's like number one.
Look like District 9 now.
Number one like that. And then number two like that. Yeah, it's pretty destroyed. Here's another view.
There's just a lot of flooding too. You can just see like so much flooding within the neighborhood.
Yeah. Let me get the description for the other view here. Sorry. Again, Chromebook podcast, so it's running a little bit slow here. Thanks for your patience. But here is a fishing village in White House. Not the only White House to get destroyed this month. Ooh. So here's the before. And this is actually just a week ago. This is a more recent photo. Actually, no, this was October 7th. So again, no relation. But now here's a photo of what it looks like after the hurricane. So number one and number two. You just see like total destruction of all the buildings. And it's not just the ones that are like, directly on the coast, but it's things that are at least a mile inwards that are just flooded or underwater.
You can tell like you can tell the wind hit that a lot. Like you don't see as much flooding, but it's just like the winds like tore those
185 mile per hour max winds.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I think sorry, go ahead.
What is it? And the Jamaica, Haiti, like they're like mountainous islands, like there's a lot of hills and mountains and stuff like that. So it's like a lot of like lowland, like it's easy for just like, aside from the wind and the rain, it's just like all these different factors just are not ideal,
Yeah. I'm trying to find the comment. I just saw it. Oh yeah, Bobby was saying, good to see you, Bobby. They're talking about adding a category 6 hurricane. Like, yeah, like we haven't gotten anything that like, tops, there's the enhanced Fujita scale for like tornadoes, and then there's like the category scale for hurricanes, and then there's like an enhanced Richter scale or whatever for earthquakes. Like we haven't actually maxed out on any of these, and like we really don't want to, because we barely know if we're ready for the worst case scenarios that have happened in the past, let alone even worse scenarios that we haven't predicted yet, that are even more subject to human folly. But yeah, it's we're getting to a point, especially with less earthquakes, more like these things that have to do with atmospheric conditions that are contributed with climate change, which we're not helping. I think there's like a COP30 happening soon. That's so cute. Like Trump
in Brazil.
Oh, that's fine.
while they're building a new freeway in the Amazon, and also Brazil just authorized drilling for oil not too far from the mouth of the Amazon. Shout out.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, climate warrior Lula da Silva is, there will be blooding the Amazon, much to the chagrin of the indigenous people who are there.
He did say that they need that money so they can be like green later. That was his excuse.
I mean, at this point, you need that money to fund the military in case the United States invades. So that's kind of why I wanted to get Hurricane Melissa out of the way so we can start to move further south and get into the piece about in Colombia. Yeah.
South to Venezuela.
It's just, B-52 bombers are buzzing the beaches. I'm not even trying to do alliteration. That's just like a fact. That's just happening right now. The CIA got caught red-handed trying to bribe Maduro's pilot to divert the flight. Did you hear about this, man?
No.
Yeah, so there was a report that came out, which means the CIA ain't got that Black Panther smoke no more. This is not your Chicago boys, 1970s, 1980s CIA. These are the there's that theory of if you do a copy of a copy, it eventually becomes faded out and eventually just fades into the paper and you don't actually even get the product anymore. We're really at that point with American society in a lot of different ways. In our media, in our politics, we're definitely in that way with the CIA. And so the story came out that CIA officials had basically gotten, CIA agents had gotten as close as Maduro's private pilot to try to bribe him and convince him to divert a plane that Maduro was on to an island in order to be captured by the United States. And the pilot was like, basically what Bam said, soy es mucho estúpido. Tú es mucho estúpido.
He said, I'm stupid if I take that bribe.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous because I'm also wondering if that's actually true, because the CIA would lie about something like that. Look how close we got, But also, okay, if Maduro leaves, he's got a vice president or the military and shit, and what the hell, that's not going to change the country right away. Just like the whole situation is ridiculous. It's just some weird flexing. Also okay, aside from Venezuela, the actual country, they're literally just killing all these people in these boats. So they destroyed one of the boats. 2 people survived, and they let them go. And I'm just okay, you have lost, you had no credibility already.
But we said 44 dead across the Caribbean. Venezuela says these are all civilians.
They are. Even we have seen no proof that they have had drugs at all. They have provided.
Also, we have no reason to believe these are Donald Trump is above killing civilians, domestic or abroad.
Right. So
he's done both.
Right. Every American president is doing both with no problem. But these are 100% just civilians. And also, it's if somebody was willing to believe you, or at least give you the benefit of the doubt, oh no, they wouldn't just kill people on the boats. They let 2 of them go. So you're telling me that these are drug runners? Then why didn't you prosecute them or do whatever the hell? or at least like turn them back into something. I don't know, but take them to Trinidad. They're on your side.
I
Like,
remember when an American president made a deal with an El Salvadoran drug gang to let out like the key members of their cartel back to El Salvador, even though they're already held in like, mega security American prisons. I remember the American president who did that. I actually remember it was in the 21st century, Bam. I'm sorry. I know I'm a little bit of a weed head, but I actually remember this was Donald Trump's second administration. He literally did this not even after, he did this before the inauguration. This was a deal in order to give Bukele what he wanted, in order to be able to send people like Kilmar Abrego Garcia to that Secot super prison in El Salvador, the death camp essentially. El Salvadoran journalists are getting hunted down for trying to report that story about that deal between the Trump administration, Bukele's deals with all the gangs, right? So like this idea that Donald Trump is, again, like, we're going after the fentanyl that's coming over the border. It's like, but the fentanyl isn't coming from Canada, right? Like,
or from Venezuela.
Exactly, right? Like, that's the cocaine, and we know all of your business friends and all of your aerospace friends, let's say, are not going to be cool with that, right? So,
right. But yeah, so like they're doing that, and then like that's just like insane. But then also this show of force in Venezuela, it's just like, what? Like, you're announcing that the CIA is there. I honestly don't really believe this story about the pilot thing. I don't really believe that. But like,
wait, what pilot thing?
The CIA, bribed the pilot or whatever. Like, I don't even believe that. But
I mean, I just told you about the story. Like, maybe it's real, maybe it's not. I don't know. But like,
no, yeah, I'm sure it's some kind of report. But like that's like what the CIA would do, or that's also like somebody in Maduro's government will lie about. Like, it just seems like too much, dude. Like, also, like, what is that gonna do? Like, that's like like if they're going for regime change, like that's not like taking out one person isn't a regime change. Like, you got to take out the whole government. Like. And it's obviously it's not an easy thing to do. Like, you gotta like literally invoke some kind of like in the first Gulf War in the 90s, they tried to like get the people of Iraq to get to like take Saddam out. America encouraged like a revolution amongst like the Shia and the Kurds. And what did Saddam and them do? They just shot everybody until they stopped, like, and they were gassing the Kurds in the north. They were like gassing them, and they were like shooting all the Shia people, and they were like, okay, you got it, buddy. So that's not going to work. Like, if the Trump administration really wants to change the regime in Venezuela, you're going to have to put boots on the ground, and it's going to be really bad. It's going to be really bad for them.
Dude, should I say this? No. This I'm definitely not going to say. All right, this I'm definitely not going to say. But like, I wish I had my better computer because I'd be able to pull this clip up like that. But there's that one clip in the movie that's like, you never get into a ground war in Asia. Same thing goes for South America.
Same thing.
Same thing goes for South America, right? It's like, a ground war in the Rocky Mountains,
right? And worse.
Well, because like a ground war in the Rocky Mountains is like Iran, which is why people are like, Americans think. Another like power report saying, American, or at least I'll take full responsibility for what I'm about to say. Americans are due for a period of humility because they thought Iraq and Afghanistan were, a walk in the park. Iran. If you think a war in Iran is gonna work, buddy. I'm sorry. Let me be clear. If you think a ground war in Iran is gonna work, buddy, let's go back to South America. Brazil would be hilarious.
Well, that's it. That's like dead impossible. But
like I just want to like draw this. Like, let's go back to brass tacks a little bit. Venezuela. Again, if I had my better computer, I could show the map. I could show the topography of Venezuela. I just
right.
like you would. It's like you're cooked. Like you're not gonna make it past the cliffs if you do a ground war. It's gonna be like D-Day, but you're not gonna be on the good side.
Also, Venezuela, like in the maps, it doesn't look like this necessarily, but Venezuela is huge. It's a really big country. Like, it's not just some small little thing. Like, it's huge. And it has like at least like 4 or 5 cities, maybe like 5 cities, if I'm not mistaken. It could be 6, of more than 500,000 people. Like, it's not just one capital city and, and that's where everybody lives. Like, no, it's got a lot of people. They're spread out. And what's the name? I think Bobby mentioned a coup. And you know what? I think that might be like what they're trying to go for. But the thing is, like, if the person or people that are like plotting the coup, you got to be willing to die. Like, that person has to be like, okay, I'm ready to die. And they gotta like they're like hoping that America will save them. But it's like, you're not gonna trust Trump's military or government, because you're gonna be putting yourself in a situation where you could get killed and your whole family in some shit. I don't like, there could be some people that's down, but Chavez and Maduro, they did a lot to like get loyal people in the military and in the heads of the military. And maybe some soldier takes Maduro out or something like that, or I don't know, but I think a lot of the generals are loyal to the Chavista movement. And the Venezuelan opposition is like, they don't have like any power. And I don't know like how popular they are actually, I don't know, I do believe that Maduro is, unfortunately, he's become an autocrat in my opinion, because I just feel like you can't have hella elections where you don't let people run, dude. Like, that just is kind of gross to me. Like, you can't just, okay, that's the most popular person in opposition, then we're arresting that person. But, the third most popular person, like, they can run. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, dude. At some point, it's like, I can't really rock with that. But at the same, but shit, that's what Trump seems like he's trying to do here. But at the same time, as far as like their government, like, I don't really see what America can do to change that, other than trying to like incur some kind of ground invasion, which I don't think would work.
Absolutely would not work.
Yeah,
I'm not a betting person, but I would put so much money on that. And like, to your point about like, is Maduro an autocrat? Yes. Is Trump trying to be an autocrat? Yes. We'll get to that in the domestic report, but like,
but I want to say
Maduro everything Nick can do, Don can do better. Don can do anything better than Nick. No, you can't. You're a what?
Whoa. I think also, if American military starts bombing within any of the cities in Venezuela, you're gonna kill civilians, and you're gonna also kill people that don't like Maduro. Like, and like, that's it. Like, they're not gonna be like pro-America no more after that. Like, you're gonna be like, nobody likes their government anywhere. Like, everybody hates their government. In South America, everybody hates the government, no matter what. Who even though they voted for him, is like, yeah, but he's not doing shit. Like,
and like, almost everywhere. Like the Trumpian, like it's. I want to say it's only like the white countries where like they actually start to like worship their leaders as though like
If they're
they're
racist,
protecting their
if they're
race.
racist,
Yeah. If they're racist, yeah. Specifically, this is not something. Lord, this is not something that even center liberals do, because center liberals do nothing but left punch, and leftists do nothing but, in my opinion, more rightfully, center punch. So like, and far left punch, and the far left just like punches everywhere. You know, like that's covered. Like, you know, that's a very you know, I won't use the word healthy, but it's a busy, flourishing sort of realm of ideas getting spread around there.
right. So yeah, I just think there's no options in Venezuela. Like there's just really nothing. I don't know what
No options in terms of like the United States being able to do
violence. Right.
Yeah.
I don't think that
I mean, you know, they can keep doing these like, you know, bitch strikes, you know, but like,
yeah,
you know,
it's like, that has nothing to do with anything. And it's just like it's unfortunate. We don't even know who's actually conducting the strikes, if it's the military, if it's like CIA or what. But as far as
go ahead.
like I think like I don't know what the Trump administration and Marco Rubio and them want from Venezuela, but it's like
I know.
Like if you want something, like if you want access to the oil, just go negotiate that shit, dude. Like you're not gonna get him out by being by threatening him. That's just gonna make him more popular. Like that makes him more gangster.
I think the Trump strategy, you know, rightfully or wrongfully, and I think wrongfully for a number of reasons, but I think in a realpolitik way, it's not going to work for most countries. Again, like it's going to galvanize. It does nothing but galvanize people. Like you got, when I don't really feel the need to talk too much about this. A, because it's fresh news. B, because I don't think much happened other than like some photo ops and Trump getting made the Burger King of South Korea. But you know, like Trump was just got back actually from a tour of East Asia, kind of, right? And met with the new Japanese president, the relatively new South Korean prime minister, I want to say, maybe president, I'm not sure. And of course the Chinese leader Xi Jinping. And yes, the South Korean leader presented Trump with a crown. Yes, this is the week after No Kings. But you know, they know how to butter him up. What can I say? And I kind of forget what the point I was going to make, but like there's something about Trump meeting with Xi Jinping that I was like trying to like connect with, that I feel like is yeah, I was trying to respond to what you said, but my bad. Maybe we'll come to it later.
No, it's but like I don't know exactly where you're going, but yeah, even with that, there's like some hyperbolic thing, like, oh, you know, they're gonna make a deal, whatever. Dude, we just seen Trump saying he's canceling a deal over a commercial, dude. Like a lot of this. Go ahead. Did you remember? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I kind of remember. Like, Trump is going around doing like I think I was trying to get around the point about like I didn't even want to talk about that much because, you know, Trump and Xi said this is exactly the point I was going to make. Thank God I remembered it. You were talking about Trump's sort of like agitative sort of behavior, basically creating the conditions, not necessarily to crack a country or to create divisions within a country, but actually to like unite a country and make them more like, you know, nationalist a little bit. I think Argentina is more of an anomaly than an exception, just because of how much the right has been ingratiated, you know, even pre-Trump, with the crypto bros and with the tech bros. Like the San Francisco boys, the PayPal mafia are really the new Chicago boys, really. And Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, I'm sure a number of like crypto freaks. I don't even feel like remembering their names. But before I forget my point in one of these tangents, because that's what's happening. The very fact that the American president and the Chinese president had a summit in South Korea. Like the very fact the Chinese president was in South Korea and wasn't like dukes up, and the South Korean leader wasn't like dukes up, because all this trade war stuff has brought noted best friends Japan, South Korea, and China closer together economically and politically, is like more proof and evidence. Europe had their faults, but they're like, obviously we are the European Union. We're good, right? Africa and ECOWAS, I don't even feel like talking about that right now. But with South America, and I think with a little bit of Australia, and you're seeing this with India and a lot of parts of the Eurasian continent, but specifically with China, Japan, and South Korea here, they're being drawn closer together, and they're starting to like find, okay, what are ways where we can diversify our capital flows, our trade networks, the way we deal with parts, also the way we can unify and play hardball, whether it's Japan pulling out from US treasuries, or China advancing in AI, or India advancing in AI and warfare, and cyber attacks, essentially. Trump's carry a big stick and carry a big stick strategy for all the old heads out there is just not working. And it's good for photo ops, and photo ops are very good for the golden retriever American media on all sides of the political spectrum. But the stories where cattle, like, again, bread and butter Republicans are like, yeah, Trump's fucking us. Trump's lying to us. Second term Trump voters who are like, yeah, Trump's lying to us. Trump's fucking us. And we're not even a year out from when he actually got elected, and when these people were like dead set in their decision. I don't know. I'm gonna stop there before we like fully move into the domestic stuff. But I want you to get like your point on.
No, yeah, I like to close it. I just feel like, like you're right. His strategy is only going to, unite countries in South America. I don't think any country in South America has like so much love for Maduro and Venezuela like that, but they're gonna see it as at least a little bit of an attack on all of them. They're just like, okay, because Trump is also he with the Colombian president. I think he's like called him a drug dealer too, and said like we're not going to be doing anything with Colombia anymore.
And to your point, really fast about what this point is, like, and to why South America and like the calls that Maduro is a little bit, to say the least, a little bit self motivated by some of these calls. Like, obviously it's all politics, but if the United States and the people from the White House are able to get away with their rhetoric about how they're expanding the sphere of influence and making sure that South America is under like American stewardship and American control, some like literal Monroe shit, so some Teddy Roosevelt type beats. If they can do it with Venezuela, they can do it with Colombia. And if they can do it with Colombia, they can do it with what Marco Rubio is on record for saying very recently, with Cuba. And, Cuba may have some preoccupations going on with the aforementioned hurricane that we just talked about, especially right now. We're mobilizing so many troops to the region. Like, there's, the erraticism is meant to create this fear and panic, but I don't mean to be fearful and panic king or like, driving that. I'm saying these are all cards on the table here. And these are I want to make sure these points are hit. Not just in what your point you're making, Bam, but like just what we're expressing right now as to like what people in Trump's orbit are thinking about. And Trump has that Joe Rogan effect of like whoever's the most recent person in the room he'll listen to.
Right. And there's a good point from Bad Lefty too, because Colombia has always been such a staunch American ally. I think they just elected their first, left of center president, I think ever, this past election. And you know, he was working with the United States and stuff, but I guess he just wasn't doing enough. And then, you know, Trump got mad. But for sure, they would have been the biggest ally against Venezuela in the past, and who knows in the future. But yeah, the situation now is just like if Trump and them are gonna do something like that, the American people do not have an appetite for an invasion. Like, do not. Like, it's gonna be at least another like 30 years before you can get away with that. Maybe 20, but there's enough people that still remember Iraq and like how many soldiers died, how many soldiers got wounded. A lot of people's family members and friends and stuff like that still dealing with PTSD and things like that. And Venezuelan army is not a slouch. Even Cuba, like, can you imagine American soldiers pulling in Cuba getting shot and stuff like that? Like, that's not gonna go over well. And also, it's social media age. Like, and all those people in Venezuela, like, they all got family here. So, like, they're going to be sending videos. And these people in Florida, these Venezuelans who are like Trump supporters, they're going to be like, hey, you know, CNN, I got a good one here. You know, $200.
I won't vote for Trump.
Like, they're gonna be like, TMZ, I got a good video here. Soldier got blown up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're gonna like, you're gonna be getting bombarded with so many videos of American soldiers getting rocked. Like, it just cannot go well. They're gonna be having planes crashing and stuff because these people are gonna be idiots. Like, it's just not a good situation. And it's just not Iraq. Like, Iraq was a totally different monster. Like, Saddam was not popular, and there was really no, like, they know they have like no chance. It's flat, like, it's an overwhelming military. They have no chance. So they were just like, okay, we'll just fight an insurgency. Like, we're gonna be trying to, but in Venezuela, like, they're gonna try to keep the government intact. They're gonna fight for that, and for sure, 100%. They can outlast Trump's term. So it's like, don't do it.
Chop, thank you for reminding me with that comment right there.
That's great.
That guy, Cenk, is confirmed.
I love that guy.
That guy. Here comes that guy. Oh shit, what up? More on that in a moment. But I did. Hold on, let me run the. It's too late. I'm so slow on this.
How come you should download them videos of him saying the N-word? That should N-word. That should be a clip. That should be a drop. Them videos of him saying the N-word.
That would involve me listening to the show again.
No, the clips are on YouTube. The clips are on YouTube of him saying the N-word. They're right there, shorts and short videos.
I don't know. That would involve me still like listening to it.
We do a news show, and that is what happened in the news.
Anyways, I'll give you one last word after this, but I did want to read this, just like humanize this a little bit. The family of a Colombian fisherman. I'm reading from a story from Times. The family of a Colombian fisherman said to have been killed in an American strike in the Caribbean say they have yet to be contacted by the White House and will not accept that he is dead until they see his remains. Alejandro Carranza's parents have lived in a state of anxiety since Gustavo Petro, the Colombian president, said on X last week that their son had died in a strike ordered by the Trump administration. Petro called Carranza, age 40, a quote, humble fisherman, and accused President Trump of murdering him. In response, Trump, who has ordered a number of strikes on alleged drug boats in the Caribbean, said Petro had been a, quote, illegal drug dealer, as Bam was referencing. Skipping later through the article, Elizabeth Perez, Carranza's niece, said, quote, at the moment, we don't believe he was the one killed because we haven't received any proof. The government hasn't contacted us. We haven't heard from authorities whether they've found a body or not. We won't believe he is dead until we have proof. If he's dead, we want them to give us a body. And so you just have this family that's like in distress. They're upset. They're not getting answers. And, you know.
Was that a Colombian family you said?
Yes.
Okay. I saw one of our family from Trinidad. It was like some Desi people from Trinidad, and they were saying the same thing. They their family, one of their family members got killed, and they were like having like a little vigil for them, for the person.
And I doubt America is giving them answers.
Hell no, we don't even have answers as American citizens.
Yeah, and so like in defense of Gustavo Petro, like that's what we're doing here. Let me see. There were a couple of comments I wanted to read, but we will be moving into domestic news. Actually, Bam, would you mind going in the comments? There's like some starred comments, and anything I haven't flagged up already, feel free to read. But also, actually, I don't think there's anything there I haven't already put up. But in
the starred comments, I do see "Somalis in Maine" is a great song title.
Oh, you can see the old ones then. That's great. I can't see those old ones. That's from last episode. But give me some time. I want to pull up the sauce.
Nacha Kid says BRICS is almost relevant again. I don't know how much I've done it here. But for sure with Caesar, I've talked plenty shit about BRICS because Caesar trying to act like I have here. Okay, because they've been trying to act
with C's actually too. I remember that.
And Caesar trying to act like BRICS is a thing just because Brazil's first in there. I'm like, literally, BRICS is not real. But shout out to Dilma. But shout out to Dilma because she is the head of the BRICS Bank. And I'm glad she's getting the bag after they got her out of the Brazilian presidency. That's my homie Dilma. Let me scroll up here. Apparently Bobby lives in Mexico. By Lefty, I did appreciate Trump announcing the CIA was doing covert operations in Venezuela. I mean, honestly, that's just like ridiculous. Like, I'll say a little bit more about that situation. Obviously there's not going to be like some like big government rally to Venezuela, but I wonder if those FARC rebels from Colombia would pop out to Venezuela and do a little sniping, because I'm sure a lot of them been waiting to catch an American soldier for like that's what like they would love that, because American soldiers go to Colombia and train the Colombian soldiers to fight against FARC. And you know what? Colombia is actually like NATO adjacent. like they're not officially in NATO, but they have like some like adjacent to NATO status thing. I forgot what it's called, but
yeah, they're SATO.
You're right. That'd be cool if they did have that. You have like Angola and Colombia and Brazil, freaking Gabon or some shit.
Well, I want SATO to be is like all of the pirates from all the global south.
But yeah, did you got it? Let's go.
Almost.
What the hell?
Yeah, sorry. I got distracted pulling up a different clip. And you know what? We're gonna play the Cenk clip in a moment, but I want to throw it back do this comment while I pull up everything. Okay, go ahead.
Bad Lefty, CIA over there wearing CIA undercover windbreakers. That's hilarious. Probably. I mean, it's really a joke. Like, it's really. Also, I think I said this last week too. It's like these people are acting like CIA ain't been in Venezuela this whole time. Like, dude, there's definitely CIA operatives in Venezuela since the day the CIA started. Like, what are we talking about? But yeah, the FARC will probably be infiltrating into Venezuela and making some snuff films. I'm trying to look up.
Whoa. Clipped.
Oh, they're a global partner. Okay, that's what it's called. Oh, actually, in July, the homie Gustavo Petro announced that Colombia would exit this partnership. Okay. I didn't realize that.
The NATO, the SATO?
Because Colombia was a global partner to NATO, but Gustavo Petro exited, citing the role that European governments played in the Gaza genocide. Look at Gustavo. Okay. I seen them videos of him in like New York during the UN summit. He was like outside in New York, like doing chants, like doing like free Palestine chants with people and stuff. And during the UN. Okay. But somebody let him know that a lot of his countrymen or his subjects are out there kicking up dust in Sudan, and they used to be kicking up dust in Yemen. And I'm mad that you said pirate, because now I have this I seen this freaking Playboy Cardi as a pirate rap on Instagram.
Yes. Yes.
And now I got that shit in my head.
I'm in a break.
He's like, musket on me hip for a long time.
Musket on me hip for a long time.
I'm like, that shit kind of go hard. I'm mad about
I just saw this just yesterday. And I
That's
was
hilarious.
Like, man.
That shit gotta kind of go hard.
No, the thing about Playboy Cardi is like, my favorite songs of his either don't exist or are parodies. Like it's either remix. Like I don't like most of his actual shit, but like I like that Pissy Pamper leak that like he couldn't get cleared.
That's funny.
You know the one I'm talking about, right?
No.
You want to be Cody? The bitch is the baby. That one. Okay,
I haven't heard that.
It's fine. I'll send it to you because it's like legendary. Like Playboy Cardi would be Kanye West, ski mask and all, chocolate milk and butterfly net and all. Like if that song had come out, like that would have been a generational banger. But anyways, there's a lot of serious and unserious things I want to talk about in our domestic report, but I actually want to throw it back a little bit for fans of Power Report for at least this election season. Our producer Sachi, which has just been doing a great job and a very tough year for everyone involved, just in his entire tenure here. But we worked together to produce a segment, a recurring segment on the relationship, dating, marriage, sort of like advice, insights that we could glean off of JD Vance, and oftentimes things that were unsolicited that we didn't ask for. We had a segment on these things, and lordy, Lord, we have an opportunity to revisit one of our favorite segments in the show, Vance Romance.
Look, I love my wife so much. I love her because she's who she is. Obviously, she's not a white person. Now, I would call her up here to come and speak, but then I think I'd have to sleep on the couch tonight. So we're effectively run in this country via the Democrats, via our corporate oligarchs, by a bunch of
Childless cat ladies.
Oh yeah. Bam, I think we're gonna do this clip cold because it's not in the rundown. And I found it. It's from earlier today, but it may have been actually from last night. But I found it, I'd say 10 minutes before the show started, but the show was late because I found this clip. So I'm gonna run it cold. Are you ready?
Oh, yes.
Let's do it.
Everybody has to come to their own arrangement here. The way that we've come to our arrangement is she's my best friend. We talk to each other about this stuff. So we decided to raise our kids Christian. Our two oldest kids who go to school, they go to a Christian school. Our 8-year-old did his first communion about a year ago. That's the way that we have come to our arrangement. But thank you. My 8-year-old was also very proud of his first communion. Thank you, guys. I'll tell him that Ole Miss wishes him the best. But I think everybody has to have this own conversation when you're in a marriage. I mean, it's true for friends of mine who are in Protestant and Catholic marriages, friends of mine who are in, atheist and Christian marriages. You just got to talk to the only advice I can give is you just got to talk to the person that God has put you with, and you've got to make those decisions as a family unit. For us, it works out. Now, most Sundays, Usha will come with me to church. As I've told her, and I've said publicly, and I'll say now in front of 10,000 of my closest friends, do I hope eventually that she is somehow moved by the same thing that I was moved in by church? Yeah, I honestly do wish that, because I believe in the Christian gospel, and I hope eventually my wife comes to see it the same way. But if she doesn't, then God says everybody has free will. And so that doesn't cause a problem for me. That's something you work out with your friends, with your family, with the person that you love. Again, one of the most important Christian principles is that you respect free will. Usha's closer to the priests who baptized me than maybe I am. They talk about this stuff. My attitude is you figure this stuff out as a family, and you trust in God to have a plan, and you try to follow it as best as you can. And that's what I try.
One day, I hope my wife's a Christian and stops all of that elephant shit.
It's really a shame because I really thought that he was going to be like, and if she doesn't, then she's going to hell. I thought he was going to do it. And if he was real, he would.
I honestly forgot that beginning clip where JD Vance is on with Laura Ingram. It's like, I love my wife, even though, unfortunately I have mudblood babies because she's not white. Like,
don't do that. Don't do that. Don't say mudblood. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I didn't say that. J.K. Rowling did. Okay. So that is no. I denounce and reject J.K. Rowling for saying that. But that is what JD Vance and Trump's most virulent and JD Vance's most virulent supporters actually think and feel about JD Vance, about Vivek Ramaswamy, about anyone in their coalition who steps out of line and stops being their token, and worse, honestly. So, at least there's remorse here.
It's embarrassing. It's also, I don't know how old his kids are, but like, buddy, like, you just don't
remember the like 36 eggs that the family consumes a week.
Oh my God, geez, oh my Lord. I don't want to look up how old his kids are, but like, at some point they're gonna be so embarrassed that you're their dad. They're going to be so on their mom's side, and they're going to see these videos of you like dehumanizing her. And like, you're done for, dude. Like, you were Donald Trump's vice president. That's so corny and whack forever, dude. Like, you're going to be just literally in a situation where you just cannot get out of, and they're also gonna see you saying, and she's not a white lady, and it's like, why the hell? Like, well, damn, dad, like, okay, I'm not a white person either. You got to bring that up, and then he's like, well, I didn't mean it. Like, it was the time, and then you're gonna look like some freaking sellout. Like, JD, dude, like, you're really whack. You're really probably the wackest person up, like, in the whole thing. You're really annoying. But I'm not gonna say free that wife of his. I'm not gonna say free her, because she could just be a coon, honestly.
Yeah, I have yet to talk to my correspondents about the Usha Vance question I've been meaning to, but I feel like she could have left at any point, but I want to say that she's a legal, like, in the legal field. I want to say she had some ties with Kavanaugh or like one of the other Supreme Court justices, and like was within that and helped that along. So I ain't shed no tear for that. That's for sure.
No. Sometimes, sadly, people of color do be worshiping whitey.
Oh, very often. Because it's that proximity to what whitey and what maleness and what straightness and cisness entails. And especially in these moments, like that is what is seen as safe. But many of the same people who are like seeking that safety then get trapped in these sort of things. And it's like, okay, well, at what cost? And people's thresholds are different, and we'll see like what the what Usha Vance's book looks like. Let's say let's keep it safe there. Yeah, Bad Lefty, you have a really good point. Strangely, earnest and sincere. Actually, don't keep that up, Bad Lefty. I like the snark. I like the anger from being in Ireland and being really late today. Anyways, let's go into Cenk, shall we?
Uh-oh. See you later, buddy.
Rip Bozo. So I'm gonna play the first clip, and I'm gonna say two things. So Bam has seen these before, but I'm gonna play the first clip.
We do a news show, and that is what happened in the news.
That's the first point. The second point is that I'm not going to say the thing I usually say. I'm not going to even make it a joke, honestly, right? But I will say that I've been consistent even in this past, going on a year of blind rage would be an understatement. Unbridled crash out that has alienated a lot of people from my friend circle on the left. Also an understatement would be that when Cenk and Anna go on mainstream cable news, Piers Morgan or CNN, which is like, the dying animal that they have wanted to ride this entire time and that they're like laser focused on in my sort of psychoanalysis. They're pretty good in those settings just because they are able to get in those settings, and they are one of the few people to be like pretty much good on Palestine. That's pretty much the only sort of situations they're brought into, right? Everything else, like, we've seen the show, we've talked about it, like it's a wash. But here is one of those situations. Cenk is on Piers Morgan's show, and Elon Musk receptacle number 42, or like, Stephen Miller's wife is somehow invited on this panel, and Cenk dropped a hanger, and as Stephen Miller's wife says, being correct is anti-Semitic. I'm sorry game here, but like that's just like some of the funniest, like some of the most pathetic stuff I've seen in a while. Honestly, the most pathetic smear against Cenk Uygur I've seen since the New York Times said that Cenk agreed with David Duke from the Ku Klux Klan.
Maybe.
No. Honestly, sounds believable, but in the clip, Cenk was being very clearly sarcastic, and the New York Times completely misquoted him as being serious. Like, it was like a completely like, even everyone was just like, this is a complete smear. But let's go into this clip here.
It's very normal for a Miller to be completely and utterly lying.
Quite frankly, I'm really sick and tired of this racist, bigoted rhetoric that comes from people like you against my husband, against my family, and my children. I am raising Jewish children in this country.
Who brought your children into this? What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done.
I'm sorry. When Cenk said what a weirdo, and I heard it the first time, I spat out my drink.
Oh, it was great. That was great. That was great. That was great.
And like, it's not even like, that's how he sticks the, like, that's how he Shohei Ohtani's it, like, like into the stands. But he starts by pitching so well and knocking it out by being like, you brought your children into this. Why are you calling me racist and sexist when your husband is objectively like Bam, correct me if I'm wrong, but her husband is the objectively most racist man in the highest office in America in the 21st century.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. And like his whole life too. Like he's not like JD Vance. Like he's like a true
It's not
believer.
even Dick Cheney.
No, what? No. Dick Cheney is Martin Luther King.
I'm honestly sure Dick Cheney and Colin Powell legitimately got along. Like, I don't even think Dick Cheney said slurs behind his back.
I don't think Dick Cheney was like in the military and shit. He probably wasn't like racist like that. Stephen Miller is like an avowed, like true believer racist. Like he is more
Stephen
racist.
Miller was saying slurs for Latinos in high school on video.
Right.
In Santa Monica, California, in Los Angeles, California.
Right. Like Steve Bannon got nothing on Stephen Miller. Like Steve Bannon is like that. Like he's like, that shit is kind of beneath me. Like Stephen Miller is like, no, I want to be racist from like the bottom to the top. Like everything. Like I want to be the slur sayer and the policymaker.
I used to have that joke about Ben Shapiro yelling the N-word 40 times before he goes on air during the Ben Shapiro show. No, Stephen Miller yells the N-word while doing push-ups, looking at himself in the mirror while like wearing the Nazi regalia. Like,
yeah.
Like
watching the first half of American History X.
Masturbating to Downfall. But always going to completion before the last 20 minutes of the film. Sorry y'all for that visual. Anyways, unrelated, here's Stephen Miller's wife.
Brought your children into this. What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done with this if you're going to allow racist and bigoted attacks against one of your commentators just for the sake that he will not
hang on.
speaking.
Casey, to be clear, he inserted
a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language for therefore we are Jewish? Come on, Piers, where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
You called me a weirdo. Doesn't that mean Jewish?
Like why? Like when is weirdo anti-Semitic, dude? Like what are we talking about?
I'm sorry. I need to go. I need you to vamp for like 30 seconds because I need to actually play my actual most favorite clip from this week. And I think you remember the one. Actually, you know, there have been a couple. And I'm not going to go for the absolute worst one because, again, we're not touching Graham Plattner. But I am going to go for Binge Irby on Newsmax. And one of the most racist and anti-Semitic things I've seen on TV simultaneously. Like, this is truly, it's not TV, it's HBO racism.
Okay, so you're gonna pull that up?
Yeah, I'm about 20 seconds away from having it ready. 10 seconds away.
Yeah, so we will pull that up and
I have it ready.
There we go.
All right, let's do it.
Oh God.
Oh wait, sorry. Let me get the volume. I'm not hearing anything. Are you?
No.
Annoying. Okay, give me a second.
One's in the chat if you've seen if you've heard the Playboy Cardi pirate song. Because I'm really excited to listen to that when we're off of here. Like I'm really excited to listen to that. Because I found there's like a whole song. I've only heard like a little bit of it. I want to hear the rest of it.
Oh my gosh. Me too. Send the link when you have it. Okay, here we go.
For McDonald's here. Look, I mean, I don't know why any person who would be a Jewish person, who would be an American person, someone who lived through 9/11, which I did in New York City, being born and raised here, would be ready to vote for someone who has such ties.
Sorry, this is going to be very racist and very anti-Semitic. Zoran Mamdani was in New York City on 9/11. He was a kid on 9/11, much like this guy probably was too.
He didn't fly the plane?
No, surprisingly, he didn't fly the plane. Those are the Saudis, not the Ugandans. I know it's confusing because they all eat rice with their hands. But let's continue.
I don't know why any person who would be a Jewish person, who would be an American person, someone who lived through 9/11, which I did in New York City, being born and raised here, would be ready to vote for someone who has such ties to extremists. And there's nothing wrong with like actual American Muslims, especially you have like Nation of Islam, who are like Black American Muslims, people like that. But this guy, Mandami, there's so many extreme people that he's been aligned with. And for this to have happened in New York City just 24 years ago, and like this is where we are, like we were the city of like Giuliani and even like Bloomberg. And it's like, what the heck has happened? I mean, we only have a few more weeks to go. I mean, go Sliwa, go Cuomo, go anybody that's not this guy promising all this free stuff, because that's what's putting his whole coalition together. The promise of free stuff makes Jews forget that, like, he's an extremist.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God. Oh, jeez. Oh, that is just Lord. Oh my goodness. Literally.
He's giving Bam eyes.
This fool really went there. That's so crazy, dude. Like, can Stephen Miller's wife hear that? She's gonna be like, but no, he said weirdo. Oh my goodness, dude. That's just like every single time you hear that, it hits every time.
I'm just gonna go back to I'm gonna have to run back to Piers Morgan. I'm sorry to be like funk flex on this, but we're gonna start the Piers Morgan clip again, and we're gonna try to
run it back and drop a bomb on it.
Well, actually, I'm doing this so I don't blow out the speakers, but let's get the okay. Let's go ahead again.
Totally lying. It's very normal for a Miller to be completely and utterly lying.
Quite frankly, I'm really sick and tired of this racist, bigoted rhetoric that comes from people like you against my husband, against my family, and my children. I am raising Jewish children in this country.
Who brought your children into this? What a weirdo.
Piers, I'm going to be done with this if you're going to allow racist and bigoted attacks against one of your commentators just for the sake that he will not
hang on.
speaking.
Casey, to be clear, he inserted
a line that says the Miller's lie. Is that not coded language for therefore we are Jewish? Come on, Piers, where are you?
What?
Where are you standing?
God, you're so
Casey,
pathetic.
if I can speak.
Everything's your shield.
If I can speak, listen.
Fire him, cancel him, America.
Cenk,
oh my God, Israel's feelings have been hurt. Why don't you work for this country?
Can we try and get
this country?
Yeah, you are a guest on my show, and I appreciate you coming on the show, and I like you coming on the show.
And I'm saying
but,
that two other guests on your show are welcome to participate in these anti-Semitic attacks that is so permeating on CNN and MSNBC.
This is so ridiculous. I'm sorry. I have to jump in here. Somebody criticizing you personally is not an anti-Semitic attack. If somebody says that you are lying, that is not an attack on Jews. That is an attack on you. And just stop hiding behind identity. This is all the snowflake behavior that the right is supposedly criticizing the left for, that you're simply repeating here. Yes, Stephen Miller is a destructive force in American society. That is not an attack on Jews. That is no reference to his identity. This is an attack on him individually, and just deal with the merits of this case.
She kind of looks like AOC.
She kind of looks like Yasmin.
Okay, that was racist. That is just really like embarrassing, and I'm sure she's a pleasure to be around. This is the one that she's the one that said that her husband is a matador in bed, right?
I don't know, but like I need to like brush my teeth after you said that.
I think she said that. I think she said my husband is a matador in bed, and I'm just thinking of the matador when the Bull gets him up the ass.
The BBC would like to apologize for the previous statement.
Not the BBC.
Oh no! I mean, like, it is Halloween, so we're all caked up here. So we're not done yet, actually, because there was a moment here that Cenk didn't even realize, and it's kind of hard to get. So I'm gonna play it here, and see if people understand it. Also, I'm gonna pause it here for a couple seconds just so we can admire the frame that it starts on. Why? No reason.
Pierce Morgan is just getting like all the content these days on YouTube and shit. Like, just bring these people on here and just have them fight it out, and then like because you can't talk about Diddy anymore
because all these people are thirsty for attention. But more on this. Let's go here.
Hold on. So
you better
what
check your
happened in the
citizenship
Holocaust
application and hope everything was legally
all the
and correct.
pogroms were disgusting.
Like
that doesn't mean that is.
I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit so people understand exactly what the Miller wife is saying.
Hold on. So
you better
what
check your
happened in the
citizenship
Holocaust
application and hope everything was legally
all the
and
pogroms were disgusting.
You'll be just like
that doesn't mean that is.
You better hope that everything on your citizenship papers, if I'm paraphrasing, is legal and correct, or else you'll end up like Ilhan Omar.
Insane.
This is the wife and rotational blunt of the White House Oval Office, who is threatening to deport. I honestly forget what I forget whether or not Cenk was born in Turkey or not, but like he has like super.
He was. Yeah.
It's a son who was born in America but like lived in Turkey longer. Cenk was like moved to America when he was 4. Right? He's like 54 right now, right? So like this is another one of these cases of like, this is ridiculous. You're like, he's not gonna do this. This is like all dumb threats. Again, my history with TYT notwithstanding, but I know Cenk is dancing in his house right now, hoping that this dumb bitch tries something. Because he's a very rich man if she does. He is like that comment, depending on Miller Lite, as what was said in the comments here, depending on Miller Lite's next move, that comment could make Cenk richer than TYT ever would. I don't like. Let me be clear. No matter all of my disdain and annoyance, like I don't want Cenk to be deported. He has a wonderful wife and kids and whatever, all that different stuff. But if they try, he's got an amazing case. And, unlike a Kilmar Abrego Garcia, like Cenk Uyghur's, he's no Anderson Cooper, but he's got the notoriety and the connections to really make a stink about it. I mean, he literally ran for president in 2024. Now my gears are turning as like a former TYT marketing guy. It's like, are you going to deport a former presidential candidate who would have been oppositional to Donald Trump? It's like, okay, we're already at the point where Donald Trump is deporting people who run against him. That is, Cenk is salivating to be able to run to Mediaite.com with that headline. Okay, do it. Honestly, do it. Like, I don't want any harm to Cenk. Actually, I want Cenk to get paid in this case, in this particular scenario. I want his kids to get caked up. I want Stephen Miller's great grandchildren to be paying Hassan Piker's kids. Like, this is how good this can get. All right, like this is the one occasion. This is the one occasion I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop the glazing here. But I'm just like, I wish an Uggo would. I'll say that.
I really thought she was Israeli. Like I thought she was like I told you guys in the group chat, I was like, she looked like she was born in Beersheba or something like that, like South Israel, not even like the north, like the south part. But apparently she's from Florida. So yeah, this like the thing that's embarrassing is that like she's getting like so overworked over like I don't even know what. Like, I don't know what the hell they were talking about before that.
You just wish that Tim Waltz had just kept foot to gas, like pedal to metal on that weird stuff. Because you saw how deep it cut that quickly. Once you're just like, let me just poke the balloon real quick. Like, y'all are not that hot. It's a wrap, man.
Narwhal, she's got quite the tan for a white supremacist. Yeah, and she's also Jewish. I mean, I can't remember what it. Oh, was it Tucker Carlson at Charlie Kirk's funeral talking about people in back rooms eating hummus, like in regards to like the conspiracy about who killed Charlie Kirk. And I'm just like, that's really embarrassing, Stephen Miller, because you were just talking at this person's funeral, and now the next guy is making like very crass anti-Semitic jokes, and you're just gonna sit there and take it like a loser little bitch, actually. And your wife too, actually. None of y'all are gonna say anything about Tucker Carlson being like in the back room eating hummus. Like, really? Like, that's disgusting. Like, hearing Tucker Carlson do that is disgusting anti-Semitism. That's like when I seen the troll bankers on Harry Potter. I was like, that is disgusting anti-Semitism, and I'm turning this off. Same thing.
Once again, J.K. Rowling, most
Literally
racist person on Power Report. The other thing I was thinking about to that is just like, we had just played that clip of the guy from Newsmax, and all of the, I'm not going to win any conservative with the Islamophobia, and like no conservatives watching the show at this point, right? But the anti-Semitism is rampant in the race, and it's not coming from the Mamdani side. It's coming from people who are like, oh, if you're a Jewish person who's voting for Mamdani, you're not a real Jew. It's just like policing of your identity and who you are that you're getting a lot of in this race. Again, you're getting that one black guy who's like, Nation of Islam, also anti-Semitic. They're okay,
Right.
They're the good Muslims, because they're the black ones. They're the 1%ers. I get my bean pies from them. I don't want them to spit in my bean pie, so they're cool, all right. Oh, up on Fulton and Nostrum, they're cool, all right. But all the other Muslims, they're dirty and gross, and they flew the planes. They're not real New Yorkers. They're not real Americans. If only Zoran Mamdani wasn't, throwing pennies outside of synagogues, then maybe some New Yorkers would start to paint. Like, can we look at the actual anti-Semitism here? No, of course not, because it's whatever I want to do for the Republican Party and for Trump, and then rules for everyone else.
Literally. And Cenk is not saying anything even close to anti-Semitic, but Stephen Miller can be right there sharing a stage with somebody doing actual disgusting anti-Semitism, vile anti-Semitism, and you're not going to say a word. If I ever met Stephen Miller, I would bring that up to him. I would be like, hey, how did you feel about that? Did you care? Because that was embarrassing that you just like, are you beefing with Tucker now? Because honestly, you should have caught him in the parking lot and then made him apologize right on your Instagram Live or some shit.
My N-word.
Yeah, he should have stepped on like that. Like, what'd you say about it?
He should have put him outside and just
now
been
I'm
like,
gonna buy some mother F bleep guns.
Literally.
How are you? Anything else you want to cover, Bam? We are right on the dot. We can get out of here.
We could do it. I'll just say this really fast. Gaza Israel ceasefire over. They're back to bombing, 100 people dying a day, days. And yeah, that's what you get the Nobel Peace Prize for, I guess.
I do have one last story I do want to cover, and it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it.
No, let's do it. Let's do it.
This is related to Chicago and what's happening with things happening with ICE invasions there. So Kat Abu-Ghazaleh, previous guest on Power Report, is running for Congress. There have been possibly multiple videos of ICE agents throwing her to the ground and other protesters as she is protesting what ICE is doing. A lot of Chicago's come out really hard. Like, I was proud of Los Angeles, but I'm like, shout out Chicago for how they're coming out and showing out for protecting their neighbors and also documenting all these things, and also just like making these ICE agents feel like the subhumans that they are. All around good to them. But Kat received an indictment from Trump's Department of Justice along with 6 other people for this thing where they keep saying, Stephen Miller has also said about, if you're obstructing ICE agents or preventing them from what they're doing, we're going to come down on the full extent of the law. And they tried to do this as well with my girl LaMonica McIver in New Jersey. She's a brand new House representative, and she was also stopping an ICE agent sort of thing happening in New Jersey, and was arrested for obstructing and indicted with obstructing ICE agents. But these things aren't going really well in court, especially when you're going towards elected officials or people who are running for office. It's interesting that a lot of these targets of these indictments who are affiliated with politics or in politics are women of color. I don't think that's unintentional, both in the kind of people who tend to put themselves on the line for these things first when the rest of us are kind of hanging on by the sidelines, and also by who is directly in the crosshairs by this administration, among many others. But shout out to Kat. She is continuing to fight for fight against this and stand strong with it, and has some of the attention and some of the connections to be able to defend herself. But she's a Zoomer in her mid-20s who is not coming from a wealthy family, whose parents are 2 generations removed from Palestine. So these are not big pockets. So I encourage you to find ways to support her campaign, the work that, not just what she's doing, but she's made her campaign very big on how can people help the community right now. So it's not just Democrats knocking on the door when an election's coming around, but someone and a group of people who you've seen in the community doing work for a year, 2 years, multiple years before doing and after an election. So see how you can get plugged into those things and see how you can get plugged in locally. Bam, your last words.
Shout out to her. She was on Power Report, alumnus. Yeah.
And here on Power Report, we obviously bias the political candidates who have been on our show and are fans of our show, because that's the way you do it here. Okay.
And yeah, I mean, obviously I can't vote for her, but these are the type of people that we need, young people that are willing to, get into the system, and also activists, those are the people that are going to really make change in the future. I know that, politics is a machine, and, I'll say this, when we get more and more candidates like this, and when more and more candidates like her, like in her age range and their views, win elections, we can't have that like super duper purity test leftist eat each other attitude when these people get in office, because that's one person. Okay. Now, when we get like 150 of people like that, that's when we're going to start seeing the change. Right now, the Congress is full of racist people. You know what I mean? So when we got,
and we're not even talking about the Republicans.
Yeah, when we get the Congress that is like full of people that aren't racist and terrible and just living for, they're working for the billionaires 100%. Then we can. That's when we can really be like, okay, now y'all got to do it now, But she's one person. She gets elected. You support her. Don't be acting like she's supposed to change the whole world. Okay. Hey guys.
Right. Thank you. 2 programming notes. Left the box. Sandy said that she's going to be dressed as a vampire for a Halloween live stream tomorrow. So check that out at youtube.com/left the box. Also, there was a Charlie Kirk video that Sandy did recently. Check that out as well and give that some interactions, likes, comments, shares, etc. And then on Tuesday on this space, where we are syndicated at least for the first hour, so no one is hearing this message on this space in the second hour, which I guess is fine, because if you're not hearing it, but you're whatever. They're going to be live streaming election coverage on November the whatever next Tuesday is. 4th, November 4th. Thank you.
That's P. Diddy's birthday.
Excellent. And so, this space is going to be streaming youtube.com/thisspace.tv, and I may pop in. The main reason I would pop in is if I'm able to go to some sort of like Zoran or DSA related like watch party or event where I'm able to talk to people on the ground, because I'm definitely not I'll be real, I'm just like not interested in being on another election night stream for a very long time. At least not like an off-year one. All right, I think I was responsible with my 8 minutes over time, but still kind of respecting your time. Let's cut it there while we can, right?
All right. Everybody have a good night. Happy Halloween. Have some fun and be safe though.
Get me a honey pack while you're out there, Bam. Peace.
I got you.
The power is always within you. Boo.
We do a news show, and that is what happened in the news.